Recently, I attended an SDR leader conference, about 30 SDR managers, aka team leads, and we ran a panel. And one of the questions they asked was, what soft skills do you look for in your next hire as an SDR or BDR? My name is Lucas Arellano, and for those new to the channel, I am a full cycle account executive who landed a BDR job right before I got promoted without going to college or having experience. And I remember in my job hunt, I didn't understand what soft skills they're looking for, just the hard skills. And I was really focusing on my ability to cold call and cold email, but I was leaving out completely what they look for in their successful reps. So by understanding this and getting this down after so many rejections, I was able to land an offer like this. And I teach this to all the people that come to me for advice. By getting the soft skills down, you will move it on to the next round. So by the end of this video, you will fully understand what it takes to succeed as a BDR and why, so that when they ask you an interview question, you can not only answer their question, tell a story that proves it, and explain why that will translate into your success on the role. The first trait you're gonna need is to have a huge drive and be very self-motivated. It's up to you to hit quota. Oftentimes people aren't breathing over your shoulder to make sure you make a certain amount of dials a day. And in order to hit quota, you have to pick up the phone and dial. And a lot of times you'll have 3 days in a row, you're making 100 calls, hitting dial 100 times, you don't book one meeting. So what's gonna push you to pick up the phone and give it your best the next day? A way you can demonstrate this in the role is by telling them not just your motivation to succeed, but a motivation why not succeeding isn't an option. Show an external factor on your life to prove to them that even like on the days where I don't want to wake up and fulfill my purpose, I'm forced to because of XYZ. The next trait is resilience. You get rejected 24/7, and you probably feel this on your job hunt. Rejection needs to be a way for you to learn, because on the job, with every cold call that they hang up on you, you can plug it into ChatGPT and learn from it so that you improve on the next dial. And if you don't learn from rejection and learn to live with it, you're gonna burn out very quick. You need to prove to them that you can stand in the face of rejection and not let it defeat you, and not listen to the voices in your head telling yourself, you're not good enough, that's why you keep getting rejected. Show stories of you standing up and keep on going. The next trait that's super important to have as a successful rep is being creative. By the way, guys, if you want answers that prove you have all these traits, just check the link in the description below. I have a community in there with a guide on how to answer all the most common interview questions, and they'll prove you have these traits. But you do need to understand what it takes to succeed by watching this video, so you're not just saying words on a paper and you can actually articulate this yourself. Now, why do you need to be a creative rep? Why do you want to prove to them that you're creative in the interview? Because the top performers figure out new ways to improve the existing processes, whether it's using AI, trying a new cold call opener, or new objection handle. You have to be a creative problem solver and show that you go over and above to not only streamline processes, but make it better and spread the success to the team around you. That's the type of candidate they're looking for. Not for the person that's looking for a repeated process that gatekeeps success to themselves. They want to see that you're a creative problem solver and a team player. The fourth trait, and this is one of the traits that you don't necessarily tell through a story. I mean, you can, but it's really the way you come off. You need to be very confident. When you pick up the phone and call a CEO of a big company, you have to be confident or they're gonna chew you out knowing that you're green. You need the confidence to do live mock cold calls in front of the team and have your manager review your calls in front of the team so everyone can learn from your mistakes. And if you're really insecure and you don't have that sort of confidence, it's gonna be very, very hard for you to get through that. You have to be confident in your ability to be resilient, to push through the rejection and keep standing up. If you lose confidence in yourself and you start becoming desperate, it's a big red flag. And so in these interviews, if you're desperate and you're not confident, it's a big red flag for them, because they don't want someone that's desperate. They want someone that's confident and intentional. And even if you don't have the necessary experience, you can still be that person in the way that you come off. This trait's arguably the most important is, are you coachable? A lot of times the reason why hiring managers don't hire the 40, 50-year-old is because they're really hard to coach, especially when the manager is 29 or 30. Are you willing to hear someone tell you you suck, even if you are bent that your way's better? Trust that they know best, or just respect them for being your manager. Are you willing to implement their advice and at least giving it a shot? You have to be coachable, and you have to be able to seek your blind spots by having your coach look at where you're going wrong. I attended an SDR leaders conference the other day, and SDR team leads and managers, like 30 of them. And in the panel, they said, what is the most common interview question that you ask your candidates? And the guy leading the panel said, I like to ask them, if you're in a car, how do you identify your blind spots? And the answer he looked for is for the candidate to say, having other people in the car with me. A part of being coachable is you have to be self-aware enough to know that you can't do this alone, especially if you're green, and that you need the experience and advice from other reps and your manager to improve. And that kind of goes hand in hand with being being cooperative? Will you share with what works with the team, or are you selfish? Will you not share with what works with the team because you're so concerned about being successful yourself? Managers, yes, they want somebody that will crush quota. Well, what they really want is somebody that will crush quota and help their team crush quota. You have to be able to contribute to their goals and their needs, and you have to be selfless in order to do that. On the note of being selfless and helping the manager achieve their goals, you have to be trustworthy. Can they trust you to not beat the system for financial gain? Can they trust you to represent their brand? Can they trust you to show up every day and give it your all? Can they trust that you're going to be there for more than 6 to 12 months and not just job hunt right away? They're investing a lot into you. And if you come in and you mention some previous experiences where you got over on someone or anything like that, it's a big red flag. You want to be the most charismatic, trustworthy person that they're interviewing. And last but not least, are you competitive? We haven't hired multiple people in my office because we didn't get the vibe that they'd be able to compete with everyone else. We're a very competitive sales team. And competitiveness and cooperativeness kind of butt, right? Because if you're competitive, you want to win. But if you're helping everyone else win, the odds of you winning decrease. So it's a very fine balance between those two. But friendly competition is huge because that's a really big motivator for people to succeed. So do you take pride in being the top performer? You need to ask yourself that. Do you have these soft skills, and are you showing them not just in the stories you tell, but the way that you come off? If not, that's probably the reason they're not moving you forward. If you can generate stories, tell them concisely, and prove to them you have what it takes to crush, you will do just fine. So check the link in the description below for all the most common interview questions and answers and how to answer them so that you can come off that way. But make sure that you internalize what they're looking for so that you know how to answer if you forget to answer one of these questions. Once again, my name is Lucas Arellano. You can follow me on LinkedIn. I post every day, but I'd love to see you next Saturday.